What's going down, YouTube? I have returned. A friend of mine was visiting the other night, and he said to me, "Hey, I want to see where you shoot your YouTube videos." And I was like, "Holy shit, I do shoot YouTube videos. Forgot. It's been a long while." So, thank you for checking in. I hope I make this worth your time. Been taking kind of a break from YouTube. I don't know how long it's been, 2 months, 3 months, something like that. Got a lot of stuff going on. Good, all good stuff. Mainly playing in my band. Had been rehearsing and writing. Played a couple of shows and just preparing to make those as good as possible. So my band Necrotic Theurgist played with Stain and Turha a couple of weeks ago. Also, underwent the surgery, so taking care of some stuff. If you're curious about checking out my band, there is a live video of us playing the show, and it's in my YouTube channel. And I uploaded it a couple weeks ago, and nobody really watched it. So fuck you guys for not checking out my band. It's been fun to have something else to occupy my time. Been listening to a ton of metal, a lot of black metal. So I've also been getting a shit ton of stuff in. So I kind of couldn't figure out where to start with the pile of stuff to do my next collection update. Also just haven't really had a lot of time to listen to all of it. But I've got 10 12 inches here. I heard you like 12 inches. And we're going to talk about them. So let's get into this. Thanks again for putting up with my shit. In the background, I found this today in a record store. I was like, whoa, yeah, I want that. I need that. I don't think I have that. I've never heard that. Stain Dusk. Thy legions reign over Christendom. The debut EP from these guys. I think they were from Alabama. I think one of their members passed away, around the time this came out or the next one or something like that. This is a band, for me, they're kind of having a renaissance. This kind of world, being the age that I am and being that, I didn't care about this when it came out. I saw these guys live at Milwaukee Metal Fest 2001. They all came out in capes. They played on the floor in broad daylight, and so it was kind of not very black metal, but they were cool. They were kind of early on among the bands who wound up kind of ruining black metal in a way. It was the lineage of, Emperor and obviously Norsecore kind of stuff took over America, and we all tried to, make cool stuff that was influenced by it. And there was just so much of it that no one could really take it, and they flooded with this kind of stuff. And so pretty often when I go back and I remember that band, I should check out and see if they were worth a shit or not. Pretty often it's but this is a band, I think, who some people around my age who are into the kind of orchestral U.S. black metal kind of stuff, the Emperor symphonic kind of stuff, have kind of gone back and said, this is actually pretty good. Along with that band like Lycanthropy, who I have been just listening to nonstop. I'm trying to see if I have a Lycanthropy. I do not right here at the moment. Anyways, but also speaking of black metal from around that time period, wish I could just pay attention. I did a live stream with Heavy Metallurgy a couple of weeks ago where myself, Marty, and Roger Kjurvik did a underrated black metal from 2000 to 2010. And that was a lot of fun. That's kind of been where I've been living listening to stuff like that. So check that out. I'll leave a link down below for you to revisit that. But that's what's going to be going on in the background. It's an EP with 4 tracks and a Dark Throne cover, which isn't worth listening to. So hopefully I can get this video done in under the time that it takes to... First one, Impiety with Despondent Ecstasies. It was funny. I was listening to the Singapore Impiety's debut, Asatiro Awalim, around the time when this kind of came across my radar. And I can't remember, somebody, I think on Instagram or something, posted about this. I gave it a quick little listen, and I was like, shit, that's pretty good. Looked into it, and this is I kind of can't believe I haven't really heard of this. So Gene Palubiki's first band put this out. So this was a demo. It's been reissued on 7-inch here, also on CD. I also got it on CD, so we'll probably talk a little bit more about it when I do my next CD update. This rules. The drumming on it is kind of insanely furious for this time period. I mean, it's a perfect precursor to Angel Corpse. Just absolutely shredding, brutal death metal. But it just has a lot of, I don't know, flares to it. A lot of technicality to it. This drummer went on to play in Diabolic, which I don't know. I know Simon's kind of evangelical about him. A little bit, but I guess I need to get into some Diabolic. But I was super impressed with everything about this. It rules. Check out Impiety, Despondent Ecstasies. Worth your time for sure. Also, I picked up the newest. So I think this was like tour only edition of the Turha and Satan split. It was really fun to see these guys play live. I had seen Satan before. They're really, really, really good. And of course, like the special occurrence of seeing one of the most mysterious U.S. black metal bands to come across in the last couple of years. Meet him, tell him how much I like Sadness, and some of the Tear House stuff. I haven't spun this yet, so not really going to speak on it, but it was a tour-only thing, and then I think they sold a couple of leftovers on their website or something like that. But fun show. Again, check out the video in my... I'll put it on there, on my channel. The video is like mostly of, I mean, here we are, the band, and I'm like just a pair of eyes behind my toms way in the back there. Just the angle of the camera turned out that way. So you can barely see me, but that's me playing drums for the first time in something like 15 years or so. But the sound turned out pretty good. I thought the sound was pretty decent. I mixed together 2 different sources of audio and made it sound pretty okay. So the 12 inches. I know that's what you're here for. So first one I got is a new Bind Rune Recordings release, Kolga. I think this is a self-titled thinger. So, of course, this isn't new to me. This was originally, I think, released around 2012 or so. A couple years after I became friends with Austin. This is obviously his project with friends Jack and... I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I thought Marty also played in this. Marty, as far as I know back then, was only doing Charnel Valley. So this is definitely like a contribution to the Cascadian black metal thing that was really burgeoning and just flourishing around this time period. And the remastering on it sounds very, very, very nice. It's got a pretty unique sound. It's got a kind of a minimalistic sort of ethereal quality to the guitars, where it's just like the guitars are like clouds that just kind of like slowly morph into riffs from here and there. And Austin's drumming is just like intense, pounding, sort of technical, really emotive drum work on it. We'll talk about him again in a second. So it has been remastered. It was originally only a CDR release, I want to say. And so it's got 3 songs on it, really long, breathy kind of stuff. It's been fun to revisit this because just when it's just like a slimline CDR in an envelope in your collection of 3,500 some CDs, it often is hard to remember that it's even there, living in between, the Karovas and whatnot. So cool to see this back on vinyl. I think it was limited to 100 copies or so. Got some yellow vinyl there. So that's cool to hear, updated and given a vinyl treatment. And also from Bind Rune, Marty over there, we have the return of Hemara. So this also features Austin on drums. So they released a full-length about 10-ish years ago or so called The Embers of the Stars. And that was a fantastic US black metal release, really atmospheric. And sadly, the vocalist, I want to say, passed away not too long after that. I want to say 2014, somewhere around there. Band lay dormant for quite a while, but now here we are reviving the name from the help of Austin on drums. So I've only given this a really quick listen. I haven't really had a lot of time to dig into a lot of stuff lately, but I was really impressed with it. I always think that Austin's drumming on stuff contributes a lot of emotional rhythm to it, which I think is an aspect that I think is kind of sadly missing from a lot of modern bands. He really puts a lot of emphasis and focus on making sure that the drums sound like a song and that they accompany the music very well. So this isn't a departure at all from Amkara's stuff. They just have a new logo. So it's just kind of an update of a band that has kind of befallen some tragedy with the loss of one of the 2 of their members. So it's cool to see it reemerge with a new life. And I think that's a really cool way to kind of pay homage to a fallen member of your band. It's really interesting to hear how people recover from a big loss like that. Anyways, a couple of Relapse pressings. This is Amongst the Catacombs of Nephrin Ka. Is that right? I don't know. My relationship with Nile is a little different from most other people. In Their Darkened Shrines, I think, is colossal. I think the way I feel about In Their Darkened Shrines is the way I think most people feel about maybe all of Nile's discography. But there's something about, I think, Tony Loreno. I'm a really, 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 I got a real hard on for Tony Loreno's playing, especially in Angel Corpse, and on that album in particular. It is so vigorous and meaty and beefy. I just don't really feel like Nile's other stuff has really lived up to that album. And it's also, I don't know, I guess I prefer my death metal to be just like heavy, morbid, dark, depressive, and just colossal, I guess. Not that this doesn't also sound quite a bit like that. It's just that I guess the variation on the Egyptian stuff kind of just dilutes it a bit for me. So, I don't know, am I the only one that thinks In the Darkest Shrines is like a lot better than their other stuff? Not to dog on this stuff. I mean, they're one of the best death metal bands US has ever created, sure. I just don't listen to them very often, and when I do, it's in their darkened shrines. I would really like to have that on vinyl. One of my biggest regrets, I was in a pawn shop one time in my old hometown and looking for like records or CDs, and they had nothing. And I happened to glance in this glass case where they had like Bluetooth speakers and roller skates and stuff, and they had In Their Darkened Shrines on vinyl, and they wanted, I think, like $50 for it, and I was like, fuck off. I would probably get it now if I was in there. But thanks, Melanie. Loves Death Metal for sending me this. I couldn't believe people were passing up on the chance to buy this for $10 from her. Going on with the back here? There's just like nothing on there, nothing on it. But I don't know. Killer album. I would like to pick up In the Darkened Shrines, of course. I always think it's cheesy when people think that it's cool how the vinyl colors match the cover. I mean, what else are you gonna do? So, of course. Also picked this up from my favorite honey hole. Onward to Golgotha. Now, you didn't already crucify me for my speech about Nile. Maybe this will do it for you. Not the biggest Incantation fan. For me, they kind of live in that same immolation kind of world where the riffs just kind of lock arms together and don't make sense. Just it hasn't really ever. Incantation has never clicked for me. Let's just be real. However, I do have this on CD and I listen to it every once in a while. And I want to say the last time I listened to it, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I kind of got into it. And I have been really listening to a ton of Disciples of Mockery, the Prelude to Apocalypse album. That for me is incredible. I would love to own a copy of that on any format. That's kind of why I picked this up. I thought maybe, having that kind of love for Disciples of Mockery, I can kind of hear those elements in here. Maybe that'll be my gateway into finally like falling in love with this album. But it was cheap at my local honey hole and thought I would get it. Never hurts to have on with Golgotha. Let's see, a couple other ones. Black Sword Thunder Attack. So saw this come across when it first came out. A couple people were kind of raving about it, and I thought, what the fuck is that? That cover looks cheesy as all hell. I thought, somebody unearthed some, stupid 80s band, and I don't know, that looks like a pretty half-ass artwork. I finally got around to watching Sarah's review of it on Banger TV, and I was like, okay, I'm curious. Gave it a listen, and before the first song was ending, I was ordering it. I would be lying if I didn't say this sounds completely like a Warlord / Lordian Guard crossover kind of tribute project. But apparently they are a modern band. These songs were composed within the last 3 or 4 years. And they're called Black Sword Thunder Attack. Now, yeah, I would change the name. That's kind of... It's weird. I don't know. But, it has some aesthetics that are referencing things that are not inaccurate. I don't know. Musically, the songs are awesome. It's not very often that I find heavy metal that is, like, atmospheric. And I really, really appreciate that, especially about Omen and Warlord. They kind of have this, like, ethereal sort of analog sort of fog to them in a way. That's a really special thing that I look for when I really love a heavy metal band. That's something, if that's there, I'm kind of all in. So, but what I will say, I think, is that they managed to capture that element on this, but they turned it up like to 35 over 10. And to me, it kind of comes across a little bit gimmicky in a way. But that's my only criticism with it. Otherwise, these songs are great. I just kind of think like the sound quality to it all is a little bit too like purposefully clumsy in a way. I would have been fine if this would just kind of sounded like a somewhat standard heavy metal album with regular production and nothing too like purposefully crappy in a way. Otherwise, it is a fantastic album. It might be in my top 10 for the year quite easily. I think I've listened to this quite a bit. It's worth getting. The hype is real, and it is very, very cool to hear a melding of Lordian Guard and Warlord. Very cool. I went and visited my friend JR, who plays in this band. He is to be found right here with a shotgun, and if you get on his lawn, man, you get on his lawn, JR's lawn, it's fucking curtains for you, man. You're gonna get shot. So this is his band, Angel Lust. I think they broke up. They're not together anymore or something. And he gave me this copy, Carnal Rights. It's like black thrash from Illinois. It's got songs like Rock and Roll Suicide. They're kind of short. They're not really overthought at all. It's just, kind of beer swilling black thrash. Not really reinventing anything all that great or anything. But thanks, JR. It was good to visit you. We'll see you again soon. I also picked this up at my local shop today. I think I had seen this a few times. Thought, why would I get that for that price? And today the price just kind of seemed like, yeah, that's an okay price. I don't know what I was thinking. I bought this on CD a couple of weeks ago anyways. This is Bloodthorn's debut within the Shadow of Your Black Wings. This is an OG press on Seasons of Mist with Merciless. I'm not sure if these two ever collaborated on any other releases. But yeah, like $36 for this all day. Why not? 2 LPs. I don't know, maybe I was just kind of like freaked out by the alternate cover artwork. I'm an Alf Svensson fanatic. I don't know if this cover art is also done by Alf or not. I kind of don't really think so. But this rules. If you kind of think like, it reminds me of some of the like slower, more captivating moments of Nemesis Divina by Satyricon. Kind of drawn out and kind of given a lot of bass heaviness and like lower range kind of riff qualities. It's awesome. It's super atmospheric and foggy and mountainous and battle ridden and fucking dragons and shit. This rules. I don't really know why more people aren't like really crazy about this debut. It kind of rules. It's weird how I'm just now getting around to picking up copies on both formats, but here we are. It rules. It rules. Also, here's an old school one. So I guess I had some confusion around what band this was. So I believe back in, 2002 or something. This is Wargasm. My buddy Wayne showed me a video or something that he had made in high school where he played, I think, a track by L7's by L7 called Wargasm. I haven't looked this up to verify if my memory is correct or not, but that's where I wound up. I was like, oh, Wargasm. So I was wrong. I think that was L7. This got reissued by the Crypt a couple of years ago, and that kind of caught my eye, and I thought about buying it back then, and I never did. But I did wind up downloading it and listening to it quite a bit and liking it. So when this was in my local shop for maybe $30 or so, and this is the OG copy of it, I snagged it up all day, man. This is just normal-ass American thrash from 1988. These guys were from Boston. I think they only did this full length. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Not a giant Wargasm fan whatsoever, but this is really, really, really great. Songs about serial killers, stuff like that. Just a lot of boogity, bad stuff that happens to people. Why play around? What it's called. Great. Nothing unique, but, I feel like a lot of you guys can just eat up 80s thrash by the pound, and this belongs in your collection if you're into, like, Nuclear Assault, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I am to the point in my years where I'm going to be more prone to put something like this on if I'm in a thrash mood than playing Creator for the 158th time, or Tankard or Destruction or something like that. Stuff like that. So that was fun to pick up. Why play around? Couple more. So my friend visited me. He asked me where I shoot my YouTube videos. Took him in here and was like, "This is where the magic happens." He brought me an LP of his old bands, and this has been a long time coming. He played in this band between, man, let's just see if there's any notes on here that could tell me. I want to say maybe this band formed around 96 or so. Pretty much exactly my age. I imagine they graduated high school in 95 or something. I graduated in 97. But the Horrors, self-titled. So these guys were, I don't really know. This isn't like my world, so I don't really know what to say it is. But I'll give you my take on it. It is it's kind of jangly punk, but it has tons of rock and roll attitude to it. It's got these kind of unrelenting rhythms to it. They kind of harken back to, I guess, like rockabilly kind of stuff. But I guess the overarching quality to it that is completely unignorable, and maybe it's the most important feature of it, is that the overall recording tone on it is filthy. It's nasty and filthy as all get out. This might make Under a Funeral Moon sound like, I don't know, Neil Young Crazy Horse. I don't know. But this rules. It's one of the, they managed to capture this energy. And I can picture people like listening to this and you know, a couple of beers in hand and bopping to this in a bar and just having this uncontrollable, like, body shaking convulsions because you have to dance to it, and it's so explosive and it builds up. These rhythms are so repetitive, and then once you get to the chorus of each song, you're just like flailing and flipping around and losing your shit. So they played a ton of house shows around Cedar Rapids, Iowa back in the day, and bars all over the place, and then managed to go on tour in Europe with John Spencer Blues Explosion back then. They did record another full length after this one, which I also will need to get. But this one kind of goes for a bit. But if you can find a copy of it and that sounds interesting, pick it up. In the Red put this one out probably in 99, I want to say, maybe 98 or so. And it's also dedicated to my good friend Ed Nearing, who is a punk rock legend here in Iowa. So I'm super appreciative to have this finally. It was great to visit TJ and meet his wonderful family. Been after this one for a long time. When I found it on CD in a used bin 10 or 15 years ago or so, I was like, yes, holy shit, found it. It does come up on Discogs from time to time, but usually it's between like 40 and 60 bucks, and it's just kind of never really been at a time where I was like ready to drop that kind of dough on a record. So it's fun to have this from the source. This is a man right there. He even played my drum set here, so that was fun. Good time. CD's probably almost over, so I got one LP left, and it is a scorcher. So in my studying up for the Dark Throne episode of Heavy Metallurgy that we did back in like maybe April or May or so, I was listening to Soulside Journey with Fenris's commentary on it, and he was breaking it down, saying like what influenced that album. And for me, the first time I listened to that album with commentary on, I don't know, when they first came out or so, and this was probably around 2012 or 10 or something when they first started putting those commentary Dark Thrones out. He said Autopsy was a big influence. And I don't know, look, I'm not insanely big about Autopsy or whatever, but I hadn't realized how similar Soulside Journey truly is to Autopsy. Sometimes those comparisons to me are just kind of like, duh, why? Why didn't that? I don't know, it's just like the entry point to the band's album kind of makes it seem like, how would the timing of that line up or whatever. Anyways, Fenris also mentioned that the Science of Horror demo by Nocturnus was an influence on Soulside Journey. So that made me really curious. I had certainly never heard Nocturnus's demo. And I found that Nuclear War Now had reissued it on vinyl, and it was available on Discogs for only $11. So I snatched that up. This is my first Nocturnus LP. I'm also kind of a more recent convert to Nocturnus. Not that I ever disliked them or anything. I just kind of never really got around to getting into them. So here we are. Right now there's going to be like a rehearsal Dark Throne cover of Transmitting Hunger. It's whatever. But this rules. I need to give it some more attention. But yeah, this has both of their demos. The Science of Horror 88 on side 1 and the self-titled demo 87 featuring Vincent Crowley on guitars. So that's a fun one. I don't know where they really got this cover art from, but whatever. NWN does a cool job as always. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for checking out my collection update of vinyls and 7 inches. If you like what I do, and if you enjoy hearing me blab on about music, there's plenty of other ways that you can imbibe upon my brain babble. I have a Patreon account where I do a podcast. It's free. I know everything's fucking free now, but like it's very free. You don't have to sign up. All you gotta do is go to the link down there. It says Patreon, and then you scroll down to the episode. You just click play, and it plays. That's it. That's fucking it. You don't have to. I know ads and shit's not free, and it says it's free all the time. But seriously, just go to the link, click play, and it'll play. And you can Bluetooth it to your speaker, or I've also been enjoying this app called Pocket Casts, and you can fuck Spotify. For one, you can bring all your podcasts from all over the place, whether it's Patreon or Substack or wherever.
Fucking computer, they changed everything about it. It used to be so cool.
Pocket Cast does it. You can have them all in one place, and it kind of rules. No, it doesn't. You can also automatically skip ads on it. That rules. So check my podcast over there. I'm also doing lots of content that you can only see on my Patreon if you're a cool person who likes to support me by paying $6.66 a month for exclusive content. Gonna be doing a shirt drop here soon. Marty, get at me. We're rolling, Marty.
I did not really look into it.
So that's it. I'm gonna quit fucking around. I got some stuff to do. Thanks for checking in. Listen to metal. Fuck Christianity every second of every fucking day. Goodbye. That was a great video, and it was made possible mostly by me, but also thanks to the undying and kind support of my Patreon subscribers. Thank you all. I love you. If you are interested in being a part of my Patreon channel and supporting what I do, you are welcome to join at the URL below. It is only $6.66 per month, and you're going to love it. Thank you.